up tonight. So Kathleen, are you doing it?
Yeah.
Maybe if you just want to come up.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Kathleen Farrell, Chamber of Commerce President. I had sent some attachments for the railroad days. Did everybody had a chance to look at them or not? Were there any questions about anything on there?
Jordan answered all my questions,
Did he? Yeah.
but the council might have questions, so maybe you want to just kind of run through the bullet points and.
Yeah,
Okay.
You don't have to go through every one of those.
Right.
Come on, Cheryl.
He knows how talky I am. Friday night, there's the car show at Beck's, and then there's fireworks at the airport. Saturday, we're having the parade. The parade's at 10 a.m. Then after that, there's vendor shows all day, food and beverage vendors. There's B&B street dance. Beck's having the sand volleyball tournament. We've requested the fire department fill the barrels. I believe we've talked to Melissa, we've talked to Gerald, we've talked to the fire department. We're filling out the MDOT thing. I don't know if there's anything else left or any questions on any
So-
specifics.
Just to maybe kind of point out, there are some changes this year, right?
Yes.
With this, the
parade's at
being
10 a.m.
10 a.m.
But the parade
So,
route
you
will
know,
be the
make-
same.
yeah, I think that's, as long as I can ever remember, it's been the 5 o'clock time. So I think just maybe remind people that, because people tend to be creatures of habit, and so.
Once everything gets approved, we have flyers, we'll be printing ads in the paper locally and
Yeah,
everywhere.
and I get that,
and
but I-
banners and stuff. Yeah, anybody you speak to, tell them 10 a.m., right?
People don't read stuff.
No, I know, I guess.
Mark tries his best, but.
In your own social circles, make sure you know.
Exactly. There you
That's
go.
what I think.
What was the reasoning for the change?
We were trying to get an even flow and do things more to keep people in town for the day. And so we have the parade at 10, we have a show at 1, a show at 3, family friendly. We're kind of trying to do things a little bit like June Fest did to keep everybody there all day
Sure.
and to have more family friendly and so on.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good change. I know it's been talked about for the last couple of years. I think to try to pull it off was or maybe whoever was in charge at that time didn't want to be responsible for that change.
Yes,
But I think it's
there will be a lot of people who won't like me after it probably.
No,
I'm
I
sure.
don't know. No, I think it's a good change, at least to give it a shot and see how people, and I totally agree. I think it's a good way to get people, that's how you start the day with the parade rather than kind of ending the day. Keep people downtown.
We have quite a few vendors, so maybe they'll go around and see all the vendors and the food and the restaurants, coffee shops, see more of that than if they just came at 7 when everything's closed and.
So what you're asking, so is there any major, as far as requests? Nothing different really on the requests?
Not really. We've been coordinating, our crews will handle the Highway 10 road closures and the permits from MnDOT on those. So the 3rd Street will be closed down on Friday morning for the car show and opened up after that's all done. Saturday, in the morning, 4th Street and Highway 10 will be closed off. And then that'll be open, Jordan, you were saying by about 7 o'clock on Saturday night. So that'll be, all of that downtown cross area will be open and cleared by Saturday night. Street dance is down in front of B&B's. So that'll be a little bit different from what has happened the last few years down there. But so there'll be roughly half a block by
Yeah.
B&B's that'll be cordoned off for the street dance. We will get cones and barricades out at the intersections on Friday afternoon. The chamber will have volunteers to actually put them out to close the intersecting streets for the parade. And then they'll put them back on the corner. We'll pick them up on Monday or possibly Sunday, depending on what's going on down at the water plant and wastewater plant. The Beck's volleyball, you know, that is in the city parking lot, so they've agreed to, you know, make sure that there's barriers around the sand, because we don't want much sand if it does rain washing into the storm sewer. So they're gonna secure that and then have that cleaned up by what time on?
Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Sunday at 3 o'clock. We'll have all the sand out of there and that cleaned up, so. Give that a try, hopefully that'll work out well, and it'll be sunshine and 75.
Hopefully, yeah.
But I think other than that, you know, most everything's the same. I did mention to Jordan, you know, a couple of things. One with shelter rentals. We've got shelter rentals at all of our shelters, which is where our picnic tables would come from. So we had to figure out a different table solution on that. And then, you know, there's been some years where we've had park staff stick around for the street dance to deal with garbages. We don't have that staff, so we'll provide the cans, but somebody's gonna have to police them throughout the dance. So, if they fill up.
Okay, we'll find some volunteers.
So I don't know if anybody has questions on any of the specific items, but I think what's being presented is organized and I think well thought out, so.
Thanks for all your work.
Thank you.
Yeah, very good. I'll work to it.
So we, what, just a approval of the,
Yep, of the request. There are a couple of maps in there too, by the way.
Yeah.
3 different maps
Yeah.
identifying the areas that, streets and parking lots that'll be utilized on those days. So if people are more visual in nature. We are also working to get electric to where the bounce houses and everything are gonna be there. So we do have a meter and a base, or just checking with the new building owner to make sure that they're okay with us putting outlet on it. We'll get power to them.
I know a couple of years ago, I just, to make sure that everything was all good with NIAS and
Yep, they're working very well with B&B and stuff, and city would do it, so they're talking.
you all remember a
a
couple
lot.
of years ago, there was some debate
Yeah.
or discussion on that, so, and I knew that that was the case, but.
Yeah, and this is B&B's first year for having it and stuff, so they're very excited about it.
Okay. Well, I guess if there's no questions, I would entertain a motion to approve the requests.
I'll make that, I'll second that.
Okay, motion by Mary and second by Ron. Any discussion, questions, comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Luck with everything.
Yeah, thanks for all your work and, you know, that you've been doing with the chamber.
Yeah, thank you for helping with everything. And Jordan is awesome.
All right, and we'll move on to item number 5, and that's to consider rescheduling our August 9th council meeting due to primary election. I know in the past, because we can have that council meeting after 8 o'clock, correct?
Either one. I make that motion.
Okay, Brian made a motion to have our council meeting at 8:01 on August 9th. Is there a second? Second by John. Discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. That'll move us to item number 6, and that's to review the proposed capital improvement plan and schedule a public hearing.
So in your packet, and we talked a little bit about this 2 weeks ago, and everybody received a copy of this. I didn't get feedback or any additional items that people do want included in it. Did a couple of just cleanup, changing the colors to represent the right funds and things of that nature. And then this time I decided to include year 5, just for the heck of it. So if there aren't any questions on the first ones, you know, the 2027 items, if you want to look at that third page on there, you know, kind of some of the repeat items, but squad computers, another unit replaced. The possibility of replacing the 97 fire pumper truck. We got mowers, sidewalks, street overlays, seal coating within the street, digger derrick truck within the light department, filter media at the water plant, and then that phase 3 of the legacy trail that we talked about. If we get funding in other jurisdictions that want to work on that.
I just wish we could get a little more on the street overlays maintenance, because we got some bad streets
Yes,
that need to be
agreed.
fixed. But we can only do so much.
Well, and I think that's, you know, we've got the item in here, the dollar amount isn't necessarily what's critical, it's in here when we talk budget. That would be obviously a great time to have that discussion, try and get more dollars in there.
Okay, so then you wanna do you have a date, Gerald, you're thinking for a public hearing?
I would say let's go with that second meeting in August, then we can get it advertised. August 23rd. Yeah, August 23rd.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion by Roy. Second by John to schedule a public hearing for our CIP August 23rd. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Any other thoughts, comments before we move on that? Okay. Then we'll move on to item number 7, and that's to consider scheduling a public hearing for the paving of Airview Drive.
We're looking at August 23rd on that one too? Yeah, we were gonna try to do it on August 9th, but we didn't know, when the council meeting was gonna be, so we couldn't advertise it, so. But, yeah, so it basically like a motion to schedule a public hearing, as part of that whole assessment policy, for pavement of Airview Drive from Airport Road to Park Road, August 23rd.
I'll make that motion.
I heard about 3 people trying to speak. Motion by Ron and a second by Mary to have the Airview Drive public hearing on August 23rd. Any discussion?
When does that get done then?
We anticipate having that done this fall.
Okay, so it would move through its process yet this year.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 8 is to consider adoption of resolution 1879 appointing election judges for August 9th, which is the primary election. In your packet is a slate of those election judges.
I'll move resolution 1879.
Second.
Okay, motion by Ron, second by John. Discussion? Not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9 is to consider the second reading and adoption of ordinance 539, amending ordinance 538 regarding the sale of property.
So moved.
Motion by Roy. Second by Mary. Discussion?
What's that piece of property again?
That's the Voyager
Oh,
driveway
okay.
pieces.
Trapezoid.
Yep, got it. Got it.
This hopefully is the last council meeting where we'll have to vote on this.
It'll be the 4th time.
This time, huh?
Assuming the surveyors got it right this time, we'll be done.
Sure does have a big description for a little piece of property.
Yes, it does.
Well, when you design it like that. All right, any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. It'll move us to item number 10, and that's to consider approval of union labor agreement with the AFSCME union for the 2022 and 2023.
So, second.
Motion by Marion, second by Roy. Any discussion? Okay, not hearing any. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I'd like to thank Chris and Roy and Mary for working with us on negotiations with all three of our unions again this year. So it was a long process.
It was long.
Yes.
We were done, they just.
All right, we'll move on to item number 11, and that's our committee reports. We have two. We have, first one would be the Park and Rec Board. You doing that, Gerald?
Yeah, so in your packet are the minutes from the July 12th Park and Recreation Board meeting. Talk a little bit about the sales tax referendum, and there is a group that is working kind of on a, in a supportive role, vote yes type role, that started meeting here last week. Lacey updated everybody on swimming lessons, and Wilson Park irrigation will be going in if John Jacklich is on schedule next week. So look forward to getting that done and starting on our quest to get rid of sandburrs. Playground equipment installation at Lincoln Park and Dower Lake. We did that on the 15th. Now, the 15th was not an ordinary day. It was hotter than blazes. So these folks are gonna get public credit. So from Stern Rubber, we got John Jewison and his boys, Michael and Matthew, Barry Hershey, Linda McIntyre, Anders Silverness, and Beverly Nolan worked on the Lincoln Park Playground project all day. Then out at Dower Lake, had Craig Messer and his son Brady from 3M, and Joel Haverkamp also from 3M, Kurt Wilson from Rotary, and just want to call out Scott, Bruce Grundall, Steve Stadema, Opie Mertens, James Link, Brandon Bollingberg, and Lacey for sticking around. It was a long process. Also, those of you who signed bills, big thank you to Mike Rollins and Zach Hansen, H&R Electric, who at 4:30 on a Friday afternoon came out to fix the wire that they augured through drilling the last hole for the slide. So that was a little bit of a setback, but if you have not been to those two parks, go and check it out. They look great. I think they'll be amenities that'll be used here in the city for many years to come. Also want to thank Lakewood Health System, Staples Motley Area Community Foundation, Fire Department Relief Association, JCI of Staples, and Sourcewell. We've got over $30,000 of donations from them in addition to what the city budgeted for those two playgrounds. So without their help, we would not have what we do out there right now, so.
It's awesome.
Just want to thank them. I don't know how many gallons of water and Gatorade were consumed on that day, but it went well. Also, I do want to thank Midwest Playscapes. Their quote-unquote supervised install typically is they send one person, and that person tells everybody what to do. I don't know how it was at Lincoln, but the installers from Midwest Playscapes did a lot of work. It wasn't just point and tell people what to do. They were in there with the rest of us all and tightening nuts and bolts and all of that. So it was good. It was a lot for one day, but got them both done.
Awesome.
Let's see, sail shades are installed, got those installed right before the 4th of July weekend out at the Dower Lake Beach, and also the Dive Into Dower sign is up out there now, thanking the donors that contributed to that project through the Community Foundation. Camp spot reservation system is up and doing well. You know, there are, because of the change from first come, first serve to reservations, you know, there are a few growing pains that Lacey is dealing with a smile, right? The board also discussed placement of a porta potty out near the Dower Lake Fishing Pier. You know, typically we've had them by the softball fields and didn't have one by the pier. This year there's no softball going on, so the board did request that we put one out at the pier. So that is done. And talked about Boulevard tree planting for 2023. John Gorton is going to go around, do a little bit of an inventory, and we'll look at our laundry list for next spring that we can get ordered this fall. And we're going to be putting a sign up directing people to NP Park off of Highway 10. MnDOT did agree to do that. We did a review of the CIP. I believe it was John Gorton that brought up a video that was shown on Channel 11 news, you know, basically a drone video of the Dower Lake Pier located at Dower Lake, Minnesota. But in the story, it did say Staples. So, but kind of a cool deal. I have no idea what got him out there to do that, but it was a nice video. So we should get that link to our website if we haven't, or Facebook page. We'll find it. And that was the end of the meeting, 6:16. So happy to answer questions if you have them.
Any questions for Gerald or Lacey? Okay, thank you. I'll take us to planning and zoning.
Planning and zoning met on the 19th of July. Continued our discussion on mobile food units, and I think in some areas kind of came to a little bit of consensus. I'm going to bring a draft back. I wouldn't anticipate that it's going to be, you know, come out of planning and zoning with a recommendation to the council yet at this point, but trying to kind of narrow down some of the areas where there's lots of questions or different opinions. The other question we had, a property owner looking to do a dog boarding and training facility in a certain zoning district, and you know, happen to have the property in a limited industry. Our zoning ordinance is totally silent on that, but planning and zoning did feel that that would be an appropriate location for that. So meeting ended about 6:30, and that was that. There's questions on planning and zoning.
No questions on planning and zoning? No, thank you. And that'll move us to open forum. Anybody have any open forum? All right, then, no one, move on to city administrators report.
I have an item that normally I would put on the agenda. I'm not looking for a vote on it, but this just came up late yesterday. But out at Valley View, I did have a conversation with the Hagelin family, and they are willing to sell that Outlot A, which is like 23 acres to us. They want a net $5,000. We would have to pay the back taxes, most of which are special assessments, which are gonna come right back to us anyway. And that's about $17,000. So my guess is by the time it's all said and done, it'd be right around 24,000, 25,000 to get ownership of the rest of that Valley View development out there. I personally would highly recommend we move forward with it and secure that. Wadena County is going to charge us more if it goes tax forfeit.
So you don't need any action?
I don't need action. If you're okay with me, I'll go ahead and get a purchase agreement drafted for the council's consideration.
Let's go for it.
Request from the Charter Commission. We had our Charter Commission meeting back on the 13th, and one of the things that the commission wants to do is do just a review of the city charter. And one of the pieces of that would be to have the city attorney go through the charter and make sure, identify any incompatibility with current state statute. Charter Commission doesn't have any money, so they're requesting the city council authorize the city attorney to do that work.
And how much would that be?
We don't know.
And how much would that be? I think we need to find out how much first.
We could, that's a fair question. I can talk to Joe and, I can't imagine it's gonna be extensive, but
No. A lot of pages there.
ask him to look at it.
Yeah. Probably the route to go.
I'll get an estimate from Joe.
It's always good to know.
Wonder how much he's gonna charge us for the estimate.
And then lastly, the budget workshop, do we wanna try to come up with the date that works for people today?
What do you think? Do you have something in mind, Gerald?
I would think that we would be ready to do that sometime, right after the council meeting on the 23rd of August. You think that?
Be here.
Oh, that's right. Tara's not here. Is that a good time for us to do it? How about, Monday, September 5th is Labor Day, if we were to do something like on the 7th or 8th of September?
Yeah.
I think that should be open.
How about noon on the 8th?
What day is that?
Thursday.
Thursday?
Yeah, that's usually should be a good time, probably. It'll work for me. Would you? I'll go around, get off work.
All right.
Noon on the
That sounds
8th?
good.
Yeah.
What?
Noon on the 8th?
Noon on the 8th.
Yep.
All right, that's all I have.
Any questions for Gerald?
I move we
I'll second.
Got a motion by Ron and a second by Roy to adjourn. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.